Hey ladies, ever get that sinking feeling that maybe he's just not that into you? What if you could spot the signs early, before your heart gets in too deep, before you're stuck hoping, waiting, and justifying behavior that deep down feels wrong? Every woman deserves clarity in her relationship. You want to know where you stand, especially when you're thinking about the future. Whether you're hoping for commitment or simply trying to understand if you're truly seen and valued, there are clear signals that can tell you when a man isn't emotionally invested. Let's talk about attraction, not just physical, but emotional and intentional. We often see women planning ahead, imagining a future together, wondering, is this my person? Is he husband material? Women tend to think long-term. Meanwhile, men, especially those not seriously interested, are often just living in the moment, focusing more on winning attention than building a future. So how do you know when something's off? He stops calling. At first, you might brush it off, maybe he's just having a hectic day, or he forgot to reply. But then it happens again. And again. Suddenly, the steady rhythm of his communication, the good morning texts, the midday check-ins, the sweet dreams before bed, all of it fades into static. Where there used to be warmth, now there's radio silence. You wait. You reread old conversations, looking for clues. Did you say something wrong? Did the vibe shift and you missed it? But deep down, you know what's happening, he's pulling away. And it's not that he can't text. Everyone makes time for what matters. If he truly cared, you wouldn't be refreshing your phone hoping for a single message. This silence isn't just about the absence of words. It's the absence of effort. The absence of priority. A man who is genuinely interested will never go long without checking in. His communication becomes irregular not because he's too busy, but because you've moved down the list of things he thinks about. He avoids seeing you. Plans fall through. Excuses pile up. One day he's too tired, the next day he's got family stuff, and the day after that? He just disappears without explanation. You start to feel like a side note in his calendar, not someone he's excited to spend time with. Every time you suggest getting together, there's a new reason why he can't. But here's the truth, when a man wants to see you, he will move mountains. He'll shift his schedule, find time between meetings, or stay up late just to grab a coffee with you. The busiest men in the world still make time for the women they want. So when he doesn't, it's not about logistics. It's about lack of desire. Avoidance speaks louder than words. He's slowly creating distance not just emotionally, but physically. The comfort of being around you, which once felt effortless, now feels like an obligation. And when you're with someone who truly wants to be with you, you'll never have to beg for their presence, you'll simply feel wanted. When you do meet, it feels hollow. There's a table between you, but it may as well be a mile. He's looking at you, but not seeing you. Conversations that once flowed easily now feel strained, shallow, transactional. The connection that used to light up the room? Dimmed. You're left wondering where that closeness went, and whether it was ever real at all. There's no intimacy, no small touches, no real presence. He doesn't reach for your hand, doesn't lean in when you speak, doesn't lock eyes like he used to. The emotional thread between you feels frayed, maybe even cut. You're sitting next to someone who used to make your heart race, and now you're just there. Two people, passing time, not sharing it. This hollowness isn't about what's being said, it's about what isn't. The silence feels louder. His phone feels more important than your words. You sense it in your gut, something's off. He's physically close but emotionally detached, and that absence weighs heavier than any goodbye ever could. He's always busy. It starts with the occasional reschedule. A meeting ran late. A project deadline got moved up. But soon, busy becomes his default answer to everything. Every invitation is met with hesitation, every weekend is suddenly booked. His calendar is so full, yet never seems to include you. You defend him at first. He's got a lot on his plate, you say. It's just a phase. But the truth is, everyone is busy. The people who care about you carve out space, no matter how small, to make you feel seen, valued, and prioritized. When a man wants to keep you in his life, he makes it obvious with his time. Over time, the excuses stop sounding noble and start feeling dismissive. You realize you're always the one waiting, adjusting, compromising. You've become an afterthought, a soft option. And busy is just a polite way of saying, you're not where I want to be spending my time right now. He stops helping or showing up for you. There was a time when he was your teammate, offering to help you run errands, fix something around the house, or just listen when you were overwhelmed. But now, that energy is gone. He's disengaged, distant, and completely uninvolved. You don't feel supported, you feel like a burden. When you reach out, he responds with vague encouragement at best. You'll figure it out, or hang in there. But he doesn't do anything. No offers to help, no follow-ups, no effort to make your life a little easier. You're left carrying the emotional and practical load alone. Support in a relationship isn't just about grand gestures, it's about showing up in small, consistent ways. When that presence disappears, it speaks volumes. A man who's invested won't sit on the sidelines of your life. But when he starts fading into the background, he's telling you, without saying a word, that he's no longer all in. The care is gone. At first, it was in the details. He remembered how you liked your coffee. He asked about your meetings, your moods, the little things that made you feel seen. But now, you're lucky if he even looks up from his phone when you speak. The questions have stopped. The curiosity is gone. It's like he's slowly forgetting who you are, or no longer cares to know. Even the way he's present with you has shifted. You're at dinner together, but you feel like a stranger. He doesn't ask what you'd like, doesn't notice if you're upset, doesn't show the smallest concern if you're feeling off. You could be anyone sitting across from him, and that's what hurts the most. You used to be his person. True care isn't loud. It lives in small, thoughtful actions. Picking up your favorite snack. Asking how your day was and actually listening. When that emotional attentiveness disappears, it leaves behind a coldness that no physical presence can warm. He might still be around, but he's no longer with you. No growth, no momentum. The relationship feels like it's running on fumes. You keep trying, initiating deeper conversations, suggesting new experiences, opening your heart. But he's flatlined. There's no feedback, no effort, no spark. It's like pushing a stalled car while he just sits inside, unwilling to help you get it going. What started with excitement and possibility now feels like routine and silence. Days go by without real connection, and you start to wonder if it's just you who wants more. You fantasize about progress, about planning trips, making future goals, dreaming out loud together, but every time you try, the conversation dies in his hands. When you're the only one working to keep things alive, it's not a relationship, it's emotional labor. And that feeling of stagnation? It chips away at your confidence. You begin to question your worth, wondering why he doesn't seem to want to grow with you. But growth requires two hearts leaning in, not one running in place. You're in a bubble, and not the good kind. He keeps the relationship locked away, just the two of you, like it exists in some private pocket of his life no one else is allowed to see. He hasn't introduced you to his friends, avoids bringing you around family, and shows zero interest in meeting your people. Everything stays separate, deliberately so. You don't get to see who he is around his closest circle. You're not part of his world, you're tucked away from it. There are no shared dinners with his siblings, no game nights with his crew, no effort to be folded into your reality either. It's not independence, it's exclusion. And it's telling. This kind of isolation isn't about privacy, it's about boundaries that keep you out. When someone sees you as a long-term partner, they want to share their life with you. But when you're kept behind a curtain, hidden from his world and detached from yours, the message is painfully clear: he's not building a future with you in it. He doesn't respond to your emotions, and may even get annoyed. At one point, your moods mattered to him. If you were upset, he noticed. If you were happy, he smiled with you. Now, your feelings are met with blank stares, or worse, irritation. You try to share something vulnerable, and instead of comfort, he sighs. Rolls his eyes, changes the subject. It's as if your emotions have become an inconvenience to him. Even your efforts to reconnect, your softness, your patience, your emotional openness, seem to trigger distance instead of closeness. You try to touch his hand, ask what's wrong, express your needs gently, and he snaps. Not always harshly, but with a tone that says, "Why are you doing this?" It leaves you confused and hurt, and questioning whether you're the problem. But let's be clear, emotional disconnection paired with irritation is a warning bell. A man who loves you will want to understand you, even when he's tired or frustrated. If instead he acts like you're a burden just for having feelings, then what you're looking at isn't love, it's the emotional withdrawal of someone who's already halfway out the door. He's no longer curious about your life. There was a time when he asked the little things. What made you laugh as a kid? What song always lifts your mood? How your meeting went, what your dreams are, who you're becoming. These questions weren't just small talk, they were the threads that wove intimacy between you. But now, silence. You come home with a story to share and he barely looks up. You talk about something that excites you, and he gives a nod but not a word. It's like your inner world no longer registers as relevant to him. The warmth in his eyes has been replaced by something duller. He's stopped being curious, and without curiosity, connection slowly dies. When someone truly cares, they want to know you, not just the version of you they met months ago, but the evolving, breathing, changing person you are now. If he's no longer asking, no longer listening, no longer intrigued by your growth, then he's no longer fully in the relationship. He's drifting, and he's letting you drift, too. You're excluded from his passions. He used to light up when talking about his hobbies, his guitar, his hiking group, his obsession with basketball or indie films. And maybe at one point, he invited you in. But now, those parts of his life are closed doors. He heads out for hours and you don't know where. He shares accomplishments with others before mentioning them to you, if he even mentions them at all. The things that bring him joy are happening without you. You're not asked to join, not welcomed into that part of his world. And when you try to show interest, he brushes it off or gives vague responses that make it clear, this isn't something he wants to share with you anymore. True connection deepens through shared experiences. Not because you love the same things, but because you're willing to bring each other in. When a man consistently keeps you out of the things he cares most about, he's creating a boundary, not one of privacy, but one of exclusion. And when you're excluded from his passions, you're also being excluded from his vision of the future. You're asking yourself, does he even like me? You lie awake at night with that question echoing in your mind. You analyze his tone, replay conversations, look for signs of affection, anything to reassure yourself that he still cares. But that question? It didn't come from nowhere. It came from months of subtle shifts, from the gut-level truth your heart has already started to whisper. A woman who's deeply loved doesn't sit and wonder. She feels it, in his actions, in his presence, in the way he prioritizes her without needing to be asked. If you're asking whether he even likes you, it means something essential has gone missing: security, warmth, clarity. And more often than not, that question marks the beginning of the end. Your instincts don't lie. That quiet voice asking, am I still wanted? It's not paranoia. It's your intuition trying to get your attention. And it's the bravest, hardest thing to face. Because once you ask that question out loud, you already know the answer. These 12 signs are not just a checklist, they're emotional wake-up calls. Catching them early can save you months, even years, of emotional confusion. You don't want to become a woman who guesses how he feels. You want to be the woman who knows, because his actions make it unmistakably clear. And if you've seen these signs before, in past relationships, take a moment to reflect. Were there warning signs you ignored? Patterns you repeated? Unhealed mistakes that followed you from one man to the next? True growth in love starts with awareness. Break the cycle. Stop walking in emotional circles. Do the work. Learn from your past so you don't keep reliving it. I've put together a powerful little guide to help with that. It's linked right below this video. Think of it as your personal relationship reboot. And hey, leave a comment. Tell me, which of these signs have you experienced before? When did they start showing up in your last relationship? The earlier you recognize the pattern, the easier it is to break free from it next time. And if this video resonated with you, give it a like, share it with a friend, and subscribe for more love-smart insights. Because the right relationship doesn't leave you guessing. It leaves you glowing. See you in the next one.